Do you want to know the best time of the week and the best time of the day to schedule a settlement or a closing? Whether you're a buyer or seller, I want you to watch this week's episode of Tom's Take right now, and I'm going to go over all the pitfalls of scheduling the conclusion of your real estate transaction. Welcome to Tom's Take. I'm Tom Toole. Thanks so much for tuning in. And this week I am going over the best ways for the consumer to go about scheduling their settlement for their transaction. So I'm going to talk about both the buyer and the seller's perspective because they're two very different ones. So if you're a seller, I'm going to say something that a lot of people think is controversial. I find it's efficient, effective, and it's the way to do business in 2018. If you're a seller, do not go to your settlement, period. You can sign all the documents in advance, and this varies state to state, so let's focus on Pennsylvania. You can sign all the documents in advance. You can go over the settlement sheet or the ALTA in advance to see what all the charges are, and that way you're saving time. You're not sitting there at a table watching the buyer sign all of their mortgage documents. You don't have to travel all over the place because the buyer gets to choose where settlement is as long as it's in an adjacent county to the property. That's what the agreement of sale says. So you're saving travel time, you're saving taking off work, and you're able to simply get a wire or get a check afterwards, and you can have someone from the agent you hire's office attend on your behalf. We do this for all our sellers, so if you're a seller, just don't go. Who cares when it gets scheduled? Because it's not something you need to be concerned with. There is no reason for a seller to be there. As long as you have your cell phone with you and you can take a call, any issues can be handled in that manner. If you're a buyer, I want to caution you towards a couple things. One, a lot of buyers insist on settling the last day of the month. What I know is that every buyer does that. They all want to settle the last day of the month to save a day or two's worth of interest. And what happens is, maybe your transaction's going along fine, there's no issues, everything's running smoothly, but the one from earlier is running late because these title companies that handle closings are jammed up. They are booked solid the last day of the month, and then someone else's problem becomes your problem. So one, don't schedule it the last day of the month. Schedule it a couple days in advance. Secondly, don't close on a Monday or a Friday if at all possible. The reason I suggest that, and again, this is the buyer's perspective. The reason I suggest that is one, if there's an issue getting your wire from your lender, or there's some sort of issue that comes up on Mondays, these lenders, they work banker hours, meaning 9 to 5. They're not working like agents do, which is not 24/7, but expanded availability. So they're just getting into the office on Monday, kind of seeing what's going on, trying to get things settled. And if there's a concern and they got to talk to an underwriter, underwriters move at the pace of a snail. They will not get back to things quickly, so all of a sudden, settlements get delayed if they happen on Mondays. On Friday, same issue. If there's a problem, you're bumped into Monday. So you don't have that backup, and then you lose the weekend when maybe you're planning on moving into the home. So I would recommend, I'm very clear on this, schedule your closing between Tuesday and Thursday. Secondly, don't close first thing in the morning. For the same reasons I just talked about, these guys are getting into the office, these women are getting into the office 9 o'clock. If there's an issue hanging over, or they maybe missed something, or there's an underwriter approval needed, it doesn't happen right away. So I would recommend scheduling it like early afternoon. Think between 1 and 3. Because when you get to the end of the day, then these guys leave at 5 o'clock. They work banker's hours. I cannot be clear enough about you with this. Some lenders out there are great. They don't have these issues. A lot of them do. The point is, I don't want any of this to be out of your control. So if you're a buyer scheduling closing, think Tuesday through Thursday, early afternoon, maybe 12, 1 o'clock, up until about 3 o'clock, and budget at least an hour. Now, when you're coming to your walkthrough, do your walkthrough the night before so you're not running late. Obviously, that's going to be dependent on the seller getting out, but these are clear rules and great ideas to schedule settlements, and that way it's going to go a lot smoother and you're not wasting time waiting around. If you got any questions about this, you know where to get us. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with more great content on Tom's Take. Thanks for watching.